We are working on GMetrix PowerPoint Project Review 2. The first task wants us to go to the Slide Master, so we'll go ahead and do that. Go to the View tab here at the top. We're in the Master Views. We'll select Slide Master. It tells us to go all the way to the main Slide Master here. And what it's going to have us do is insert the FT logo, and we're going to align it to the top left corner. So we'll go to the Insert tab here at the top. We're in the Images group. We'll select Pictures. We'll map to our GMetrix templates folder. We'll select the right image. We'll go ahead and click Insert. And it tells us to go ahead and align it to the top left corner. So we'll go ahead and select that. With that selected, we're on the Picture Tools Format tab. In the Arrange group, Align Left. And then we'll select Align Top. And we'll go ahead and check that we completed that task. This task wants us to go ahead and change the theme of the document. So we'll go back to the Slide Master tab. We'll go to the Edit Theme. We'll select this drop down here. And what we're looking for here is Ion. If you're not sure, make sure you hover until you find it. We'll go ahead and select that. We'll go ahead and check that we completed this task. This task wants us to go ahead and change the slide size. We're still here on the master slide. We're in the size group, slide size drop down, custom slide size. Slide size for what we'll select here is Ledger. We'll click OK. And then it tells us to ensure fit, so we'll select that. And we'll check that we completed that task. This task wants us to go ahead and change some of the fonts used in this document. So we're still on the main Slide Master. It tells us to change the title of the Slide Master to Arial. With that text selected, we'll go to the Home tab. We're in the font group. We'll go ahead and select Arial. It tells us to change that to 40 point. It tells us that we're going to expand the width of this master title slide box. So we'll go ahead and select that edge, which gives us the Drawing Tools Format tab here at the top. And it tells us that we want to change the width to 10.5. So we'll do that. We'll hit Enter. The next part of this task wants us to change the first level bullet font size and type. We're going to go to the Home tab now. We want to make sure that Century Gothic is selected. What we want to select is the body though. By default, mine had heading. And what we want to do is select the font size of 22. And you might need to type it in here. And it tells us to go ahead and on the second bullet level, make sure that this is Century Gothic body. And this time we want the font size of 20. We'll go ahead and close out of our Slide Master by going to the Slide Master tab here at the top and clicking Close Master Slide. We'll go ahead and check that that task is completed. We are on GMetrix PowerPoint Project Review 2. We're on the part of the project called Marketing and SEO Slide. The first task wants us to go ahead and do some direct formatting changes. The first thing is to select the title text. We're going to change it to Arial, but we're going to change the size to 60. And we're going to go ahead and change the subtitle here. We're going to increase the font size to 24. We'll go ahead and click out of that box just to make sure those changes are set, and we'll check that we completed the task. We are working on GMetrix PowerPoint Project Review 2. We're on the part of the project called Why Market Online. This task wants us to go ahead and insert new slides. It tells us that we're going to put the outline of the slides between the marketing and SEO and online only slides. So we'll put our cursor here in slide 1. We're going to go to the slides group on the Home tab. We'll select new slide dropdown, slides from outline. You want to map to your GMetrix templates folder. And what we want to select here is called Why Online. We'll go ahead and check that we completed that task. We are working on GMetrix PowerPoint Project Review 2. We're on the part of the project called Interesting Statistics Slide. The first task wants us to go ahead and insert a slide from outline between Why Market Online and Internet Only. So we have our cursor here on slide 2. We're on the Home tab, Slides group. We want to click New Slide dropdown. We'll select Slides from Outline. For this, we'll select statistics. We'll click insert. And we'll go ahead and check that we completed that task. So with our cursor here on this slide, what we want to do is on the home tab in the slides group, we want to go ahead and click the layout drop down here. And what we want to do is select to content layout. We'll go ahead and check that we completed that task. This task wants us to go ahead and change the bullet color to dark red. So what we want to do is put our cursor here in this text box. We can select the text here. So we select all of our bullets when we make this change. We'll click the drop down here for bullets. We'll go ahead and click bullets and numbering. We want to select the arrow bullets here, and our color, we want dark red. So we'll go ahead and select that, and we'll click OK. We'll go ahead and check that we completed that task. This task wants us to go ahead and insert an image in the right content box. So we'll put our cursor here, and it's faint, but if you look, you can see a little picture icon here. We'll go ahead and select that. And what we want to do is select the image called girl with laptop. And we'll go ahead and check that we completed this task. This task wants us to go ahead and add a soft edge rectangle. So with this picture selected, we have the Picture Tools Format tab here at the top. I'm going to go ahead and close out of this Design Ideas. And what we're looking for is soft edge rectangle. Make sure you hover if you're not sure what style you're selecting. And we'll go ahead and check that we completed that task. We are working on GMetrix PowerPoint Project Review 2. We're on the part of the project called Capture the Future slide. The first task wants us to go ahead and insert a new slide. We're on the interesting statistics slide, and we're going to insert our new slide between this one and the only internet or also mobile slide. So what we want to do is we're on the home tab slides group. We're going to go ahead and select new slide, and it tells us that it needs to be title and content. So we'll go ahead and select that. It tells us to add the title, Capture the Future. We'll go ahead and check that we completed that task. This task wants us to go ahead and insert an MP4 file in the placeholder content down here. What we want to do is just to go ahead and select Insert Video. We'll click Browse to map to our GMetrix templates folder. We'll go ahead and select the video, and we'll click Insert, and we'll check that we completed this task. This task wants us to go ahead and make some changes to the video. We're going to go ahead and trim the video. We're going to go to the Playback tab here at the top with our video selected. We're going to select Trim Video, and what we want to do here is change this to 5, and we'll click OK. We'll check that that is complete. This task wants us to go ahead and apply an animation to the slide title. So we'll go ahead and select the title up here. I'll click the whole box, and I'm going to go to the Animations tab. It tells me to go ahead and put the entrance animation shape. So we're in the Animation tab. We'll click the More drop down. In the entrance group, we'll select Shape, and we'll check that we completed the task. The final task in this section wants us to go ahead and change the duration of the animation we just applied to 1. So we'll go ahead and in the duration group, we're going to go ahead and click the down arrow until we find 1, or you could type, it's up to you. And we'll check that we completed the task. We are working on GMetrix PowerPoint Project Review 2. We are working on the part of the project called Only Internet or Also Mobile slide. What we want to do is go to that slide here, slide 4, and it wants us to go ahead and change the chart style in the left content box to style 6. So with that chart selected, we have the Chart Tools Design tab here at the top, and what we want to do is select style 6. We'll go ahead and check that we completed that task. This task wants us to go ahead and add a comment to the chart. So what we can do is a few things. I normally right click and click New Comment, but you could also go to the Review tab at the top to do this. We'll go ahead and type the comment that it has in the instructions. Make sure you type the question mark because it's part of the quotation part. And we'll click out of that, and we'll go ahead and close out of this. Go ahead and check that we completed that task. It tells us to go ahead and create a clustered column chart in the right content box. With our cursor here in this box, in this section, we can go ahead and select this chart icon. It tells us clustered column, so we're good here. We'll click OK. And then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and in this section begin building the chart. Once we're done keying in all that information, What we want to do is put our cursor in the bottom right hand corner of this information, and notice how my cursor changes to the sideways arrows. What I want to do is click here now and drag to exclude this data from our chart. And once I'm done with that, I can go ahead and close out of it. But let me caution you before I do that, just make sure you carefully key in the information here, all your capital letters, spaces, the correct numbers. This is an easy part to get wrong just because you miskeyed something. We'll go ahead and check that we completed this task. This task wants us to go ahead and apply a style to this chart. So with that selected, we have the Chart Tools Design tab here at the top. And what we want to select is Style 3. We'll go ahead and select this, and we'll check that we completed this task. We are working on GMetrix PowerPoint Project Review 2. We're on the part of the project called Marketing Strategies. We're going to begin on the Only Internet or Also Mobile. We're going to begin on the slide called Only Internet or Also Mobile because we're going to go ahead and reuse a slide. So from this slide, I'm going to go to the Home tab. I'm going to be in the Slides group. I'm going to go ahead and select the New Slide dropdown. We're going to use Reuse Slides because it says that we're going to reuse a slide from a different PowerPoint, so I'll select that. In this pane, we'll go ahead and select Browse and map to our GMetrix Templates folder. It tells us that we want to use the Paid Marketing PowerPoint, so we'll go ahead and select that and click Open. And it tells us that we're going to use the second slide called Marketing Strategies. We'll go ahead and just click once. And notice it went ahead and inserted that slide. We'll close out of this pane. And we'll check that we completed this task. The next task wants us to go ahead and add text to this table. Under the Paid section, it says Billboard. And it wants us to change the table style to Light 3, Accent 1. With my cursor here in the table, I have the Table Tools Design tab. I'll go ahead and select that. We're in the Table Tools Style section. I'm going to go ahead and click the More button here. And what we're going to do is look in the Light section. We'll click off the table, and we'll check that we completed the task. We are working on GMetrix PowerPoint Project Review 2. We're in the part of the project called Best Ways to Start slide. We'll go ahead and select the slide called Best Ways to Start before we begin. Our first task wants us to go ahead and change the slide layout to To Content. With that slide selected, we're in the Home tab, Slides group. We'll click the Layout drop down here, and we'll select To Content. We'll go ahead and check that we completed that task. This task wants us to go ahead and insert some smart art in the right content box. We'll go ahead and click in here, and what we want to do is select this little button called Insert a Smart Art Graphic. In this section, we want to go ahead and select Relationship, and what we're looking for is the counterbalance arrows. If you're not sure, make sure you hover before you select it, and click OK. It's going to have us insert some text, so to do that, I'm going to go ahead and click this little button here to open the text box, to open the text pane. Our first bullet is going to be Good Marketing, and our second bullet is going to be Great Sales. I'll go ahead and close the text pane. It tells us to change the height and the width. Now, I want to caution you right now, I have this element in the Smart Art selected, and that's only going to make the changes to this. I want the whole Smart Art to change. So I'm going to go ahead and click in this clear section to select it all, or you can click this line here to do that. We are on the Smart Art Tools Format tab. In the size group, we'll go ahead and change the height and the width. And it tells us to go ahead and change the style to Brick Scene. So we'll go to the Design tab. We're in the Smart Art Styles group, and we're looking for Brick Scene. It's this one, so we'll go ahead and click that. And we'll check that we completed this task. This task wants us to apply the teeter animation to this Smart Art. So we'll go to the Animation tab here at the top. We're in the Animations group. We want to click this More drop down. And what we want to select here is teeter. And we'll check that we completed that task. We are working on GMetrix PowerPoint Project Review 2. We're on the final steps part of this project. The first task wants us to go ahead and apply 2 different transitions to this document. The first one, the transition is going to be doors, and it's going to be to all of the slides except for the first slide. So what I'll do is I'll click here in slide 2. I'm going to scroll all the way down to the last slide. I'm going to hold the Shift key on my keyboard, and I'm going to click 6. And notice that all of the slides lit up orange, except for my first slide. I'm going to go to the Transitions tab. I'm going to go ahead and click the drop down here, and I'm looking for doors. And it tells me to go ahead and on the first slide, so I'll go ahead and select that. What we're going to look for is Flash. So again, I'll click the More drop down here, and I'll select Flash. We'll go ahead and check that we completed the task. This task wants us to go ahead and apply some options to the document. So we'll go to the File tab here at the top to go to the Backstage view. We'll select Options. We're going to go to the Advanced section. We'll scroll down to Printing. It tells us to check the box that says Print True Type Fonts as Graphics. And we want to check the box that says High Quality. And we'll click OK. And we'll check that we completed the task. This task wants us to go ahead and add the comment field Approved for Release. So we'll go to the File tab here at the top to enter the Backstage view. We'll go ahead and click Show All Properties. And in the Comments field, we're going to go ahead and type in Approved for Release. A lot of my students here will add a space at the end of this line. Be careful, don't do that. You just want to type the text and click out of it to set the text. And we'll click the back arrow to exit the Backstage view. We'll check that we completed the task. This task wants us to go ahead and display the guides. So we'll go to the View tab here at the top. And in the Show group, we just want to go ahead and select Guides. And we'll check that we completed this task. This task wants us to go ahead and set up some slideshow options. So what we want to do is go to the Slideshows tab at the top. We want to select Set Up Slideshow. In the show type, we'll select Browse by an individual. And in our show options, we're going to select Show Without Narration. And we'll click OK. And we'll check that we completed that task.